Welcome everybody back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Naruto episode 127. What happened last time?
Last time the fight between Kimimaro and Gaara was raging on. Another white hot battle continued with that one, as well as Naruto was chasing after Sasuke, sort of, you know, it was a really actual well done sequence of Naruto sort of thinking about his past and the future, and Sasuke, and you know, chasing after him and going through his like mental. We got to like a glimpse into his mind as he's chasing after Sasuke. We got Kimimaro's backstory, which was interesting, and sort of how he met Orochimaru, how that all started. During that flashback, we got a glimpse of Zabuza and Haku, which was really interesting. That was really nice. And at the very end there, we got Kimimaro's final form, which I thought was an octopus for a second.
You did think was an octopus for a second.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it was an octopus for a second.
Just like all the other curse mark second states, they turn into giant animals. Hope you guys enjoy this reaction to Naruto. Support the official release. Watching Crunchyroll or Netflix is not a free alternative to watching on those platforms, so support the official release. We include some of the footage in these videos for context, but again, not a free alternative. Hope you like and subscribe if you enjoy the videos, and check us out on Patreon if you want to get a week ahead on this show and many others, as well as getting a bunch of exclusive reactions to a bunch of stuff that we don't show on our YouTube channel. Patreon.com/Boldcast. Check that out. But more than anything, we hope you enjoyed the video. Let's go! Oh shit.
He looks like some kind of dinosaur.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I'm very disappointed. I see. He is not your only opponent.
I love how you announce yourself, Lee.
Oh shit.
That might have been the end. If Gaara had not intervened, my body is still too weak.
It's almost like a pool noodle. I don't like
The
that
slimiest pool noodle you've ever seen.
Can he even...
How is it possible?
I would like to know the same
That doesn't
thing.
seem physically possible! Oh, silent title again. Started beating him to death with his own spine. That doesn't seem physically possible. That's what he said while he was dying.
This bow is my strongest. It will bore right through you.
Yeah, he is not doing too great.
Shukaku shield.
Whoa.
Kabuto, how much longer can Kimimaro last, do you think?
Oh,
Just till the end of this episode.
I did everything for him that I possibly could. Of course, I'd be more confident of his treatment if I hadn't been working in the dark. I would have preferred more information.
Oh.
His medical history.
You performed surgery in the dark?
The Kaguya clan were a people who thrived on war. It was only in the midst of battle and slaughter that they felt at peace. But times change. There was no longer a place in the world for such senseless savagery and bloodshed. The world was becoming more civilized. And so this last mad act, pretending that brute force could defeat an organized power like the Mist Village, it was nothing less than mass suicide.
And yet, you were able to save one from oblivion. The youngest and most gifted of all the Kaguya.
To have lost that rare Kekkei Genkai of his. Imagine, to possess a bone structure of such density that it's an almost impervious defense. And even better, of such adaptability that in offense, it becomes a weapon of extraordinary power.
Damn.
I took the hardest minerals in the soil I gathered, and then I fused them with the sand using my chakra. Tell me, that's a very
Oh, that's why they're
unusual
sparkling.
jutsu. It's a Kekkei Genkai, right?
It belonged to the Kaguya. But now, it belongs to me and me alone.
You're the last of your clan, eh? Then your clan perishes today.
That might very well be the case. My body has weakened. It may not last much longer. However, I will still live on. Because I am not alone. You obey me, or you die. Which do you prefer?
How about neither one?
Soloed.
My existence has been subsumed into Lord Orochimaru's ambition. That means a part of me will survive in Lord Orochimaru's heart forever.
Orochimaru's brainwashed you well. You sad little pawn.
Savage.
To this battle, almost out of chakra. I must make this last bit count.
Some quicksand. I was actually gonna say earlier he should do some quicksand.
Yeah, now that he's like ground up all the dirt or all the minerals beneath, he could just like
Bury you 200 meters below the surface of the earth. Under pressure so great you won't be able to move a finger. Imprisoned there till the end of time.
Till the end. I'm-
presumably. I mean,
Okay.
you can only assume.
Damn. That's rough.
You did it! This time I am certain of it.
No.
That's like every time they talk to each other. You did it! Finally, it's over. Not yet. Dance.
His-
The
One of his-
Bracken dance. Get out of there, Lee!
Lee! Lee, what are you doing?
He's fucked up.
This is getting tiresome.
It's true, the more you want something, the harder it is to wait for it.
Kabuto, do not speak to me as if you were explaining things to a child.
I'm sorry.
That looks so cool. Whoa.
Thank you, Gaara. You saved me again. These powers
That does
of
look
yours
really
are
cool.
truly remarkable.
Not really. I'm merely able to make the sand do my bidding.
Excuse me, sir.
Tomorrow. I am sorry I failed you. Please forgive me, my lord.
Or how I discovered you one fateful night.
The earth, its curse mark. With this, I become a part of you, Lord Orochimaru.
Come see the truth of the world through my eyes, Kimimaro. It all could be ours, yours and mine. Will you come?
I will see the truth of this world. Lord Orochimaru was to me!
Holy fuck.
My strength is
Let's
gone.
get off from these bones.
I am not his pawn. He is the one. The only one who ever gave my life meaning. But how could the likes of you ever understand that?
He is dead.
Can it be? Kimimaro.
He's of no further use to me. All that matters now is that Sasuke is coming. And of his own free will, just as I foretold. It was sheer luck. I should have been killed.
No, it was not meant to be. My sensei has often said to me, a good ninja always makes his own luck.
That meddlesome mother hen.
God sensei is nothing of the sort. Yes, he stepped in. But only that once. I am very grateful to you for having saved my life. But I warn you, I will not abide anyone speaking ill of my sensei.
So you're another one, eh? You have someone in your life whom you honor and revere so much that every hurt inflicted on them is inflicted on you as well. And the closer
That
they
bone
are to
forest
you,
is
the
crazy.
greater the pain.
I will live on. I am not alone. A part of me will live on in Lord Orochimaru's heart forever. He is the one! The only one who gave my life meaning!
To feel so strongly for someone, you would fight for them. And die for them. You and Naruto Uzumaki have that in common. However, what if this person you honor and would even die for is not a virtuous person?
Impossible. Such a person would be unworthy of honor or respect.
No. Perhaps the companionship of even an evil person is preferable to loneliness.
Holy shit. I forgot how great that was.
Is that at the border?
Yes, yeah, actually it is.
That's like, was that like the first Hokage and then like whatever one? No.
No. That you are right. That was the first Hokage on the right, but we haven't been introduced to who the second figure is.
I was wondering if it was like the whatever Kage. I'm not sure what land is on that side.
Oh.
Like because they're at the border of their two lands, they're like
Sort of a respectful.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. That I forgot how impactful that death was. It's crazy how like God. That they bookended that so fucking well, and the fact that Gaara was there to and that they had that conversation at the end was so good, you know?
Yeah, especially for, and I think it works with Lee being there as well.
100%.
Because he has so little experience with like evil people, or like because the person who he like worships is Guy Sensei, who's just a great man, you know? So he's just like, well, no one would feel that way about someone who's shitty. Like, obviously. Are you dumb? Like, and then Gaara has more of a deeper insight of, like...
having been actually alone and being dejected by everyone around him. And just being
like, yeah, well, I mean, if fucking Orochimaru just walked into my house when I was a kid, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. And yeah, Lee just doesn't think of it like that, but after he could tell, he's like, yeah, well, good point. I mean, because Lee was bullied as well, but he wasn't, like, discriminated against and, like, you know, shunned from,
I think the difference is because Lee was sort of bullied, but it was because he wasn't good at something, not necessarily because he was a danger to other people. Like, no one looked at Lee and was like, I'm going to stay away from you because you're terrifying.
Or you're a commodity, so I'm going to keep you locked up and use you for my gain, which Gaara also has experience with. So Gaara can obviously understand. And I think that's why Gaara was able to find an edge on him, because he understands him more. Like, as far as a thematic way, obviously Gaara's just stronger than Lee. And that's, like, if you want to make that argument, obviously Gaara has sand powers and he could beat Kimimaro. But, like, maybe the reason that Lee couldn't quite overpower him, other than the surgery, other than like literal plot reasons is like Lee couldn't understand the internal struggle that was happening with Kimimaro or see past the facade of like, I'm a weapon, I'm just here to do Orochimaru's will. Turns out that's like, but Gaara could see through it because he understands what pain he's feeling, and he can recognize it even if it's not being shown. So he's able to be like, you know, you're just a fucking pawn, you're brainwashed, you don't even see it. But then, yeah, but the response of Kimimaro is so crazy. The delivery, by the way, of that last line, and like it just hit me. I forgot like what the fuck just happened, and I was like, oh shit, like fuck, that was so good. That was a, like, see, when we complain about like, oh, what does Sakon's, on the molecular level, all the proteins and stuff, not to get into all that, I'd rather talk about what the good things of this episode, but that's a perfect example of like the great writing that the show has in store and the incredible depth of emotion that they can reach. And even though people say like, oh, I saw somebody say, you're looking for deep character development and motivations and stuff like that, and 3D characters and all this shit, then you're watching Naruto, you're looking for that in Naruto, you're watching the wrong show. It's like, I don't think so. After shit like that, that's the stuff that this show can reach, and it has the capacity. That's what
makes like a good fight from a bad fight.
Yeah.
Like if you care about the characters, or like the characters and like what they're fighting for are valid and
are being explored.
Yeah.
Through the fight. The fight is a vehicle to explore the philosophies and the emotions of these characters. So that's why Gaara and Lee working together with their personal past against this guy who Gaara has a lot of similarities with. Only he would really understand what he's going through. Maybe Naruto, but like, yeah, still like.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, and I'm glad that you brought up the whole fucking molecular level thing, because I wrote down like the explanation of like what Gaara is doing with the sand, I think is like something like that, like explaining a power, but it works because it makes sense with what they're actually doing.
Yes.
And it is relevant to what's going. It's not just, oh, I can do this, I can grind up these minerals in the earth.
Yeah.
And then it's completely irrelevant 2 minutes after he says it, and it doesn't really matter how it happens. They talk about it, and then he, like, you can see that what he's doing is because he did that.
Yes.
Like, he gets more sand because he was able to grind up the sand. And then he actually, then in the next, that was last episode, and then in this episode, he actually reveals that he got really hard materials and minerals so that the sand would be even better of a defense. So it shows that Gaara is, like, actually thinking, you know, which he wasn't really that much. It seems like that would be something that he wouldn't really do before.
100% no.
But now that he's thinking, he's trying to win the battle on a strategic level as well, of planning ahead, being like, okay, I'm probably gonna have to. This guy's stronger than I thought. I'm probably gonna have to defend against him. How am I gonna do that? I'm gonna specifically get mineral, and he would have to have knowledge of minerals to be able to do this anyway. So it just shows. I just really liked the inclusion of that.
Yeah. Because
it's actually relevant. It shows character development.
Exactly.
Discipline, training,
mindfulness of his surroundings. Yeah, and
preparation for the future. Like, it just shows that he's very aware of what's going on. It shows that he has a lot more control.
And it shows that he's matured. Because, like you said, it's impressive because that's exactly the opposite of the sort of thing he would have done before.
He would have just, you know, freaked out, started just screaming.
And let the demon take over.
Yeah. But now, he's being a smart boy. He's, you know... And I appreciate that, and I like that that's where they're going with his character, and it makes him way more of an interesting character because we've already kind of explored his backstory and his past and his struggles, and now we're, like, actually getting to see him as a somewhat normal person without just dwelling on the bad stuff that happened to him.
100%. And the fact that he's able to recognize that, like, it shows, like, the fact that he can reflect Kimimaro. It's a
But
perfect
yeah,
example
and I was gonna say
of how
it's
far he's come.
actually even better because Gaara can still. It's not like he's just a completely new person who looks like Gaara, and we're calling him Gaara because we wanted to reuse that character. But we're just making him a different guy because a different guy would suit this part of the story more.
Yeah.
No, you can tell, like, you can see how he went from how he was to where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
Without even seeing it, you can see what he must have done. He must have done training. Just a lot had changed, but you can tell that it happened, and it's believable, and it's not like he forgets what he was.
Mm-hmm.
Just not even that long ago.
He's carrying that weight with him as he goes through into the future.
But he's using that in a tactful way and in a way that is productive now, and I like that.
Yeah, Gaara is a lot of people's favorite character for that reason. What's great is you can see that he's carrying that with him, and it's clearly informing the way that he's thinking about the world, just the way that he's interacting. But you could also tell he's not done as a character.
Yeah. That's another thing that's really good.
He's still developing.
It's not really like Neji, where Neji goes through this crazy change, but it is quite instant, and then he's just a nicer guy.
Yeah.
Gaara still has some improvement to be done. He's not finished, and you can tell that, but he is so much better than he was before. Mm-hmm. I like that. I was also going to say Kimimaro's bone forest was out of control.
That was insane.
I hope I don't know what uses there are for bone, but if someone could harvest that and make something out of it, they'd be kind of set.
Yeah.
I don't know what you could do.
It's a full forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's really hard, so maybe you could use it for some kind of armor. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But
yeah,
there's a lot of
it's harder than steel, he said, I think.
I don't know if it's
steel or diamond.
I don't think it was harder than diamond.
I think it was stronger than steel.
Yeah.
His bones were.
But that's quite impressive. So I mean, I don't think that that's going to be in the plot of Naruto, but for the sake of if this story was really happening, I would hope someone would take advantage of that in some way.
That would be dope.
Because there's a lot of it.
That would be dope. They don't.
I know that they don't.
I just want to say that, because that's so awesome. I wish that they did. I wish that the Leaf Village, oh shit, there's a bone fort, or I wish they revisited a passing comment a criminal's escaping through the Leaf Village, or sort of smuggling their way through. It was just we'll cut them off at the pass of Kaguya Forest or whatever. That would be so cool if some shit like that happened, but no, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's also interesting how he says that he will live on because of Orochimaru, but in reality he will live on because he made a massive bone forest.
Yeah, exactly.
That no one can take. It's so hard that no one can do anything with it.
Nobody can even
it's just
chop
there
down the
forever.
That's insane.
What else? Oh yeah, I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, I love how Kabuto is just
a piece of shit.
He's just a piece of shit. Even more so, he's so it looks like Orochimaru's getting a new vessel. How does that make, he doesn't say, well, what do you think about that? But he's with his sunglasses, they're not sunglasses, but they look like sunglasses in the lighting. It's just his glasses, but they're blacked out.
It's the next level of instead of just the shine covering his eyes, he's so evil that it's just black.
And he's just
what a fucking asshole.
I fucking hate Kabuto. And Kabuto's just there every time, hyping up Orochimaru.
Yeah.
And being what's wrong? As he's coughing up blood. Yeah. And just every time I see Kabuto, I'm yeah. I was every time, I think about Kabuto, I'm is he really that bad? And then Kabuto does literally anything, and I'm
yeah, fuck this guy.
What an asshole. What an absolute
what a piece of
shit.
Fuck this dude. Fuck Kabuto, man. But
yeah.
It's such a great episode. And we covered so much fucking ground.
Since it seems 20 episodes, it's actually
comparatively.
That's a bit overcut. It seems literally 5 had passed
in the last 2
or 3.
Yeah, for real. We saw the drill bone.
Is how it should
This is how it should always be.
This is how it should always be, and it would be so much more enjoyable if it was always like this. Also, yeah, just the whole bones thing is really creepy.
It's creepy, but it's fucking
cool. It's really, really cool. But it would have also been cool if he couldn't regrow his bones. He could just remove them from his body or like position them.
Yeah. What you know what would be really cool is if he could only reposition them or like take it, like he could use his arm as a sword but couldn't use his arm because the bones are gone from his arm.
That's what I meant.
But with the curse mark, maybe he could maybe that's what the curse mark does, and that's something that they realized, and that's maybe what made him a great vessel, was because like the bone thing is cool and all, but like not super useful. But with Orochimaru's guidance, that would actually be a cool thematic thing, and
that would have been really
and
cool.
a reason why he would make such a good vessel for Orochimaru, because he's like, well, what if I could use my full power? What could I achieve if I and that is what he's thinking by using him as a vessel. Mm-hmm. But still, that would be a cool step up. Cool.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting, because I do think the bone thing is interesting, and the bone force was really cool, and the whole regrowing bones was really cool. But I think
feels kind of cheap.
I think it would have been extra badass and a bit more realistic. But maybe normally his clan can't regrow their bones. Maybe that's why he was so special and so powerful. Potentially, I have no idea. But I'm just saying, it would have been really epic to have like a clan that their thing is they can remove bones from their body
and use them as weapons.
But they can't, like, if he takes his arm bone out, he can't use his arm bone. Mm-hmm. Or he could like use his ribs to fill in his arm, but then his like he would be more exposed, or like
it raises the stakes of this
something
power.
Of like where he like has to have such an extensive knowledge of his own
physiology.
Yeah, like of his bone structure, that he can like make substitutions. But like if someone steals your arm sword, you're kind of fucked. Yeah. You know, that would have been really.
That would have been a cool limitation that like elevated the coolness of it, because it's like a sacrifice for him, but he's so skilled at using it.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
I'm fine with how it was, but I just think that would have been really cool. I love when Gaara's just like in there, kind of like a sleeping bag. He looked like the sleeping bag dude from Tower of God.
Yeah. And yeah, Kabuto's there the whole step of the way. Every step of the way.
So is Kimimaro, but mostly Kabuto.
Oh, I meant Kimimaro.
Yeah, but also Kabuto just hyping up Orochimaru, like, awesome. After Orochimaru does anything, Kabuto's like, nice.
Good job, Lord Orochimaru. And then we leave off with Sasuke and Naruto on these giant statues.
It's like some Lord of the Rings shit right here.
It is. Yeah, you're right. Actually, it is kind of some Lord of the Rings shit. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the next episode, I suppose. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction. If you want to get a week ahead, if you just can't wait for the next few episodes, then you can go check that out on patreon.com/boldcast. But we hope you like and subscribe to stay tuned and get more of these Naruto videos, and see what else we got on our channel. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. And thank you to all of our patrons, especially those in the Student Council: Zenge,
John Ortega,
Aurora,
Lewis,
Chris Janvey,
Nelson Barbosa,
Kage Uzumaki,
Dreadful XR,
Brian,
Handicap Bonkai,
D23L,
Charles Liu,
Brian,
Michael Wells,
King Mr. Mew,
Rifleman Z51,
Brandon Bruce,
Fallow,
Mord Tarragon,
Alfonso Reynoso,
Josh Carey Gray,
Jordan Angu,
Lolly Convict,
Takamasa Baba,
Vanity,
Redacted,
Josue Gonzalez,
Zachary Pora,
Mohammed Buran Ahmed. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one.